Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. The Spirit of Winona is a weekly television show which I produce for HBC, or Hiawatha Broadband Communications Company. It's a show about Winona. Its purpose is to entertain as well as educate you about the city you live in. The shows are about a variety of happenings in Winona. They include history shows as well as current events, performances showing off the talent of our community members, and tours of our schools and businesses. We also take tours of the beautiful homes in Winona. We meet all kinds of people, your neighbors and your friends. We do cooking and craft shows and fashion shows, and we also take garden tours. Anything that's interesting and happening right here in Winona. But the Spirit of Winona is only one small part of the many aspects of HBC, which is really a very unique company. In fact, it is probably the only one of its kind in the world. Today we're going to find out just why HBC is so unique. Back in the 40s, when little boys could not turn on a TV set to help develop their dreams, they turned to comic books. Flash Gordon, Dick Tracy, Spider-Man all helped with images of the technology of the future. The internet, cell phones, and cable television were not even heard of. But one little boy in Winona, Minnesota was reading the comic books and knew there was a higher form of telecommunications out there somewhere. This boy turned into a man in the community he loved and became extremely successful in the business he began with 4 of his high school friends. That company is Fastenal. He is also a senator for the state of Minnesota and is one of the primary founders of HBC. His name is Bob Kierlin. Back in 1992, Bob Kierlin and Bud Beckler were driving their daughters to school one morning and began talking together. Bud, being the dreamer that he is, said, "Bob, wouldn't it be a great idea if all the schools in Winona could communicate with each other so they could share their resources on a daily basis?" Bob said, "Yes, let's do it." Hiawatha Education Foundation, funded with private funds primarily from Fastenal owners, set the ball rolling with a feasibility study run by Bud Beckler and Gary Evans. Luminet was then founded for the purpose of advancing teaching and learning in all of Winona's educational institutions. Using the highest quality network available at that time, those institutions received telecommunications connectivity, and Luminet became one of Minnesota's first local internet service providers. It became apparent that Luminet's full potential would not be reached until all the homes and businesses in the community could benefit from this new high-speed internet. With an education mission at its core, it became an evolutionary decision to grow Luminet from an internet connection company into Hiawatha Broadband Communication Company, which included not only local internet service, but the best television and telephone service as well. HBC is an offshoot of Luminet, which is a telecommunications company that began in Winona in 1993 by Mr. Bob Kierlin. Hi, Bob. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona.
Good to be here, Joyce.
Bob, tell me a little bit about Luminet now. I know you were into the Fastenal, into making fasteners. You had really nothing to do with the telecommunication business, but why did you want to start one here in Winona?
Well, I'm not sure I wanted to start one here, but I was approached. I think the idea really came from Bud Beckler, and he and Gary Evans approached me with the concept that they had of putting fiber ringing the city in the sense of the government and the library and the major educational institutions. And at that time, our Hiawatha Education Foundation was already interested in education, so it seemed like a natural to look at an extension of what we were doing to a community-wide program that really did foster education.
Well, how did it develop then into HBC, into a television cable company?
I think that what we learned was that Luminet, by connecting, I believe we had 8 sites in the community connected, we still did not achieve the connection to the home. And if education were really going to make use of technology, that somehow we'd have to get to the home. So as the years went by, one or two at a time, and we just came up with the concept of maybe it's time to look at what it would take to run a hybrid system using fiber and some coax cable into the home to wire everybody so that the schools could connect directly to the home.
Okay, then Luminet was started as a nonprofit, and the difference is now HBC is a for-profit organization. Tell me, who benefits from the profits of HBC?
Well, the ownership, there's a significant part of it is with educational institutions and with Winona Community Foundation. There are also some private investors who make up the board of directors for HBC. But our intentions really are to provide a way for the community to be involved in an educational telecommunications company, and for the educational institutions that might provide some programming and assistance to the system to get some economic benefit from it.
Well, Bob, Winona already had a cable company in place. Why would you want to put another cable company in Winona? What would be the difference between HBC Cable and the cable company that we already had here?
Our intentions were to put in new technology using a hybrid system to get wider bandwidth so that we could offer more programming and eventually grow into some of the other componentry that we have now, such as telephone and also the high-speed internet on cable access.
It sounds to me like you really wanted something brought to Winona that Winona didn't have, something to make Winona's life better. You must really have a love of the community. Tell me about your love of the community and why you wanted Winona to have such a high-tech cable system.
Well, I, of course, was born and grew up here, and I think with the exception of 2 years in the Peace Corps, I've never been away from Winona more than 2 weeks at a time. Just love the area around here, and I think having been given the opportunities that I had as a young person to get a good education, I've always had a belief that to the extent possible, we'd like to see other young people in Winona having the same kind of opportunity. I always think that people are the greatest assets in any company or organization that you have, and to the extent that people have a good education, they're really able to perform at the level of their ability. And so, anything that we do in a society to make ourselves better really depends on having educated people.
Luminet evolved into HBC in 1998. Over 150 miles of hybrid fiber coax cable plant were laid throughout the city. 3 towers were set up to receive off-air signals from the Minneapolis area to bring local television programming to Winona. Satellite dishes were set in place to receive cable networks from all over the country. In January of 1999, HBC was not only serving educational institutions in the city, but Winona's residences as well. By October of '99, high-speed internet came into being in Winona, and by 2000, telephone service also became available. Today, over 65% of Winona's homes are connected to HBC. HBC is located right at the foot of Johnson Street, right next to the Mississippi River. Here is where you go to get the best telecommunications service in town. They offer cable for your television, they offer internet service, and they offer telephone service. Let's go in and take a tour and see what interesting aspects this company is all about. Okay, we're here today in the office with Lauren Wandrush. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Joyce. Good to see you.
Lauren is the sales director here at HBC, and Lauren has agreed to give us a tour of the offices today.
Right. Thank you for joining us. This is our front office area, and Connie Hagedorn is our head receptionist here. A lot of people like to come in, pay their bill in person, talk to Connie, have a cup of fresh coffee, which we have on hand all the time. So this is a real exciting area, and it sets a real nice, friendly tone for the people as they come to HBC.
Well, I know I've been in here with Connie, and Connie's offered me coffee, and it always feels kind of like a coffee clutch here rather than a place to come pay your bill.
It should. That's our desire. That's our wish. Make you welcome. Want you to come back.
Oh, well, thanks, Connie.
You're welcome.
Well, what goes on right immediately in this office here?
We're in the customer service area right now, where you sign up for new services, you can add services or change your services with HBC. Of course, we have the high-speed internet, the cable modem service, And then we also have telephone service as well as the cable television services that are provided here. And on the telephone side, there are a lot of features that people like to add all the time. And the customer service people are always happy to help, answer questions, go over bills, and sit down and visit with our customers.
Okay, do the girls spend most of their time on the telephone here then?
A lot of it is telephone work, but you'd be surprised about the number of people who like to stop in, visit with us a little bit, let us know how their services are going. So it's kind of a fun situation. It's a very friendly atmosphere for our customers. It's a very friendly place.
Good afternoon, HBC Customer Service. This is Ellen. How can I help you? Sure, I can help you with that.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Joyce.
Hey, Bonnie, can you tell me a couple things about your job?
Oh, busy every day, different every day, but we get the enjoyment of speaking with the customers, the local people from around town, which is a pleasure. And what we like is when they stop in and see us personally.
So they do that? They come right up to you and talk with you?
Sure do. Sure
What kind
do.
of questions do you answer for them?
Anything from billing questions to the services that we provide, pricing. Any kind of problems that they may have, we'll help them troubleshoot. Mm-hmm. If they have trouble with other companies, we'll help them out with that.
Okay, and what's it like working here at HBC?
It's terrific. We got a great group of people to work with. They're all real awesome. We work together, and it seems to flow very easily.
Okay, thanks so much, Bonnie.
Thanks, Joyce. See you again.
Okay, bye-bye. Now, what is your name, sir?
Tom Feltus.
Hi, Tom Feltus. So now you came in today to maybe pay your bill or to troubleshoot, or what did you come in here for
Had a
today?
little problem, but it wasn't on the HBC's end. It's who I transferred from, so they've always done a pretty good job of taking care of the situation. I didn't expect them to go ahead and do any less.
Mm-hmm. Tell me what you think about HBC and about your service.
When we moved to the new house, we went ahead and got the telephone, the cable, and the internet all in one package. Saves a lot of money. It does. It's a very nice package.
Right.
Pleased with the rates, and virtually no problems with service. So, and if there is, they always take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This happens to be our technical support area. When you have problems with your computer, you call in to HBC, and we have several people in here all the time that answer the phone, go through the setup with you, solve the computer problems that you're having at home, right over the telephone for you. They're on call. They work from 8 till 8 every day, and on Saturdays 8 to 4, and then we have people that work on weekends too in case you have technical issues that come up.
Great, so we can put some of the friendly faces with the people we're talking to on the phone.
Exactly. These are the ones that they contact all
Okay.
the time.
Okay, I think what we're going to do is go through all your dial-up settings, Joanne. What kind of computer do you have?
See, this is our dispatch area, so they schedule all of our installs for telephone and for cable modem and for television. They also handle any problem areas that we run into. They do a lot of the scheduled maintenance and keep track of all of our crews and keep everybody humming in the field. So it's really the network operations center also for all of our operations
Charlie
here.
Lima 8, Alpha Victor Michael, Charlie Lima Foxtrot 414547 from the existing customer. If you want to use those, you want me to use the 414584 Foxtrot.
If we can come up with a solution here in the office, then we will surely dispatch one of our technicians to take care of them and get them up and running.
This is where our network operations is ran from. So out of here they maintain our servers, update all of our internet software, make sure all of our internet software is working properly, maintain and monitor the system so that all the traffic flows smooth and evenly. A lot of our people are on call 24 hours a day and work long, hard hours keeping the system up and keeping it going.
This is Peter Sherbring, who helps with the internet services somehow. Peter, tell us exactly what you do here.
I mainly work on the infrastructure, making sure that when you dial up, that you actually get a connection. When you double-click on Internet Explorer, their homepage comes up, and when you get your email, that it comes up. Working in kind of behind the scenes, making sure everything works the way it should.
Tell me, how long have you been working in internet services, and what's your training? What's your background?
I've probably been involved with technology for at least 8 years. I really started in high school here in Winona at Cotter.
Well, tell me how you like working in the field now.
It's really interesting. I mean, everything's moving so fast that it's kind of hard to keep up sometimes, but it's one of those things that you never really know what's going to happen a month from now. I mean, things change that quickly. It's kind of exciting just to try to keep up with things.
And how is HBC keeping up with things?
I think we're doing fairly well. We're always trying to stay on top of the new technologies.
Internet service is the newest realm of the telecommunications field and the one that has the most potential for growth. Dan Pecorina, the head of technology for HBC, gives us some idea as to where that growth is going. Dan, tell me about the internet service here. Why is internet service for HBC better than other internet services?
Well, there's probably 3 or 4 different things that we do that makes us a little bit different. One is the fact that we've always been an internet company, and we're a total communications provider, and we've provided internet service from day one, whereas other cable or other high-speed telephone companies have always they've moved into that area with existing personnel. And we've always had network professionals on staff and built things from scratch. So that's one piece. Another piece is our help desk. And our help desk truly cares about the customer. And in fact, they'll even go out and do house calls for people. As well as the redundancy we built into our network, which is much different than most of the smaller ISPs in the area. We have multiple lines going out to the internet. In fact, they even leave the building in different directions. Along with that, we have multiple servers. So there are very, very few opportunities for our service to even go down. On the family side, we offer spam protection and web content filtering. We have a national dial-up program. So not only can you dial up here in Winona and get onto the internet, but if you're traveling all over the country, you can get access to HBC internet service from anywhere in the country.
What can we expect in the technology field in the future?
Well, I think you're going to see more of a convergence of data, voice, and video. I think you're going to see that on the internet side. And I think you're going to see that between the internet and cable TV. As we move forward with our digital TV services, you'll see interaction between the internet and the cable TV. You'll actually be able to interact with programs. We're working with schools and businesses and even people at home to be able to communicate back and forth over interactive TV.
What do you think of HBC as a technological company?
Well, we're right at the leading edge of just about everything, and we try to see what's coming up next and what's going to be available in the future. We're doing a lot of the latest things. We're providing wireless internet service up and down the river here, all the way up to from Winona to Lake City, out to Lewiston and Altura, and on the other side of the river. So the wireless service is doing very, very well. It's just working here every day is something new, and that's what technology is, so it fits very well.
The wireless service that Dan speaks of is going to be an exciting step for HBC. Gary Evans, the president of HBC, tells us what this will mean for the rural people in our area.
If you live in a valley someplace at the end of the line and you can't get, and people aren't going to build a wire that would carry our services to your house, we can do it wirelessly. And actually we're pretty excited because we're also part of an experimental project in western Minnesota where they're also adding cable or television to that mix. And you know, we know about cell phones, so pretty soon I think, although I think wired infrastructure will be best for the immediate future, I think wireless will continue to develop and grow. And I would expect that we would be serving lots of areas with wireless technology soon.
Well, tell me a prediction. How far do you think that'll go?
The wireless? I think 10 years from now, virtually everything we do will be done without benefit of wires.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. How far do you think it'll go for HBC? Do you think we'll be providing service throughout the state of Minnesota?
I think that it's very possible that HBC will be a player across Minnesota, either by virtue of operating businesses itself in other communities or by working with providers that are already there to help them with their content issues.
Okay. Well, that's quite an extension for HBC.
Well, it was sort of the vision from the beginning. You know, we thought that we'd like to get it right here. Obviously, we all live here and we love it here. And so getting it right here was important. And we thought when we did get it right here that it probably would be something worth moving outside of Winona. And I think we're just beginning that phase.
A wonderful service that became a part of HBC several years ago is the telephone. Greg Nicolaisen, a veteran of the telephone business for 35 years, heads this end of HBC and tells us what the advantage is to having your telephone service with HBC.
If you put telephone service over a cable TV system, as we did here, there's only a handful of companies in the United States that are doing this. It gives you a better way of monitoring the service to the customers also. Telephone is a vital service to most customers. In a typical telephone world, you have copper pairs of wires that run from a central office, which like we have here, out to the customer. In our case, we extend electronics out to the customer. So if a customer has a problem with their telephone, for some reason they don't have service, probably 90% of the time we know it before the customer does, and we can dispatch a truck or fix the problem before the customer even knows it. In a typical plant, that's not true. The customer has to find it themselves and call it in, which delays getting the problem fixed. So it's a new technology, and as you know, all technologies are moving forward, advancing. This is, I guess when we started this about 3 years ago, it was kind of an experimental stage. It's been perfected. We have very little downtime with our service. So I think it provides much better customer service to the customer. And all three services, one-stop shopping, and we're all local, as you know.
The telephone switch room is located in the back of the building where all the local service is monitored by the watchful eye of Dave Adcock.
You're in charge of this room, right, Dave?
Yes, I am. How are you doing today?
Good to see you, Dave.
Yeah, nice to have you in here.
This room is fascinating. I see a lot of wires. I see a lot of cabinets. Tell me exactly what's going on in this room.
Well, this room is no different than any other central office at any other phone company throughout the nation. The only thing that sets us apart here at HBC, of course, we're local. But we also provide our telephone service in a very unique way. There's only a few companies like ours doing business the way we are in the nation. And that's that we deliver high-quality telephone service over a fiber coax hybrid network, which is what you see in the background. Everything in the cabinets, like I said, is very generic. You'd walk into any central office for any other company in the world, and you would see the same or similar equipment. I could show you inside one of the cabinets. I've got, like I said, the switch is primarily electronics, controlled by a computer. What you see in this area are just a sampling of some of the electronic circuit boards that it takes to connect our customers with other customers throughout the community and throughout the city and the nation. The computer that I'm talking about that handles all of our central call processing is located here. Not much to look at, but it's a very powerful, very sophisticated computer that handles all the call processing, not only for our customers, but for customers that are looking to reach ours here in Winona. So, very powerful, very sophisticated piece of equipment. Like I was alluding to earlier, the thing that sets our company apart from others is the way we deliver our service to our customers. Over a coax network, there's some other equipment in the room that you'd probably not see in many communities throughout the nation, some in other countries, but there's very few that use the equipment that we do. That's what makes up the rest of the equipment in this room.
Okay, well tell me, Dave, quickly, what is it like to work for HBC in Winona?
That's a good question. We're a great company. We're like a family here. Everybody treats folks with respect. We love the community of Winona. I would say it's a fantastic place to work. What's exciting is we provide top quality service. We provide all three services, and that's what folks are looking for nowadays is ease, convenience, and somebody local that they can turn to if they have problems or if they just need more information, about our services. But we've waited a long time. All companies have waited a long time for this technology to arrive, and that's being able to provide all three services to our customers on one wire.
Lauren and I head for the most technically equipped room at HBC.
This is the head end area, and this is where all the technical stuff happens. We refer to it as kind of the head end. There's lots and lots of equipment here. It's very expensive, very technical. And we're going to introduce you to Danny Hansen, who's going to really explain how it works.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Joyce.
Danny, this is an incredible room. It really is. It's one of the most fantastic rooms I've been in, but it's so technological looking that I'm just in awe. Can you explain to us what's happening
Sure.
here?
Come on over this way.
Okay.
We have satellite dishes outside the building, and those have feeds that come into these satellite receivers, and there's one satellite receiver for each channel that we have. Like this one is sci-fi. And then from here we have wiring that continues around our equipment here. And also we have off-air channels at a tower site outside of town, and this equipment brings it in on fiber optic cable, and also cables from here then continue on around. And these cables actually come into a patch panel where we can do testing from, and then we continue on around the room with them, and they then go into a modulator and a stereo encoder, and this determines what channel the programmer will be on. Like this one is channel 71. And from here then the cabling goes back on over to just a combination point down there and out of the building. And our internet equipment, this equipment is for one type of modem, and this actually receives signals back from the modem, cable modem, and then this equipment is for us. We have two types of modems. This is for another type of modem, and this receives signals back from the modems, and this equipment sends signals out to the modem. And this is all cabled back to the same central point in the back there where the TV channels are routed to.
The technology is truly mind-boggling at the head end and takes a special breed of talented technicians to bring it all together. From the head end room, the cable has to extend then to the homes. Bob Kummel, who shares an interesting room at the back of the HBC building with the cable technicians, tells us how this is done.
The cables that go into the homes, are they all connected to this receptor here?
Yes, we break up Winona in 57 different nodes, geographic areas, mechanical areas, and each one of them is fed with fiber optics. And so all the pictures and all the cable modem signal and all the phone signal travels back and forth to a node, and we have 57 of them.
Okay.
So a lot of increased dependability in that Winona's busted up into such small chunks. See?
Yeah.
So that's how the fiber works. But then after it hits the node, then it's cable TV signal going through amplifiers, feeding signal both directions to, a normal cable television install, you might call it.
Bob the Cable Man laid out the cable from day one for HBC. He's also a collector of posters of the comic book character, the Punisher, which he likes to display in the technicians' area. The rest of the room has a bit of a retro look and seems to fit the technicians just fine during their break time. Colleen Bushman, who's in charge of the technicians, tells us about this interesting group of craftsmen.
Our technicians here at HBC really have to be unique. They have to be so much more qualified than a regular cable television technician because they have their telephone and the internet. Tell me about their training and tell me about the technicians.
Well, most of the training has been in-house training from our maintenance crew who's been here since the inception of HBC. So they've been able to train our technicians along the way. Every week on Tuesday we have a training session in the morning to go over the next new item, how to install a fitting properly, etc. Those types of things. Our maintenance crew comes to the meetings on Tuesday morning and shares that. We also look at classes put on by the Cable Association, telephone associations, where they can go and take, say, a one-day seminar and get certification. So we keep an eye on what else is out there. As far as hiring new techs, we do try to get someone who has some experience in one of the two industries. Most companies are doing work in just telephone and or cable. We try to pick up some people from any of those two venues, and then we do the cross-training on the other. I think our guys do a good job when they're out there. They know what they're talking about. They get things installed properly, answer the customers' questions.
One real qualification that all your technicians seem to have is friendliness. How do you find so many nice, friendly cable guys?
That's helpful. Well, they obviously like their jobs And actually now in these last few weeks, when they've survived through the cold, up on the poles, in and out of the house, they've all done one heck of a job. That's really all I can say. They're happy. They've got a good team. They work closely with our dispatch department, and the team working together is just great.
Do you hook up telephone and television cable and internet cable? Do you do all three of those things?
Yep, we do them all.
What's your day like when you go out in the truck?
We do pole work, run drops, run to the house, mount voice ports, and wire the house, and if the wiring's bad in the house, we gotta replace all that too. Then we check all the services before we leave, make sure everything's working fine. I make the job fun.
Yeah.
How does he make the job fun?
Oh, he talks to everyone and anyone.
You know, everybody that works here is, technicians are kind of fun to work with.
Everyone gets along.
Yeah, everybody gets along.
Uh-huh. Why do you think that is?
I think everyone kind of likes what they're doing
Mm-hmm.
and who they're working for, actually. So.
The spirit of Winona seems to be entwined throughout the attitude of the HBC employees, people treating each other and their customers with respect and a positive attitude. This spirit is common throughout Winona as well. We have found what makes HBC unique is bringing the best telecommunications service to Winona with an educational mission in the background. Next week, we will see the second part of the HBC story when we take a close look at the HBC studio and its educational programming. This has been Joyce Woodworth. Please join me next week. Till then, enjoy the spirit of Winona. Hello, this is Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. In last week's show, we saw the first part of the HBC story. We learned how HBC evolved from an idea to bring the best telecommunications service to this area with an educational mission at its core. We took a tour of the offices and saw how HBC accomplishes the mission it set out to achieve through its technical skills and its customer service.
We are now in the office of Gary Evans, who is the president and CEO of HBC. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Joyce. How are you?
Good. Now, Gary, tell me, how is HBC providing the very best telecommunications service in this town?
Well, I think there are lots of potential answers to that question. So let me just say that the technology we operate is all the very latest. So that's one way. But the better answer to the question is what I think my grandmother taught me, which was the golden rule. In other words, we like to treat every customer as we'd like to be treated. So the issue for us is customer service. We understand that there are choices out there, and we also know that we have to be better than our competition if we're going to get the business. And so we work very hard to provide the customers with what we want. You know, there are lots of things that go into HBC and what it is, but clearly it's the HBC people and their interest in serving customers. As a matter of fact, just before I came up, our CFO, Bob Bartz, stopped me to tell me about one of our technicians, Mike Rudnick, who yesterday had been working at a home where the people were at work and noticed that their water pipe had broken. Not just tried to reach them, but also called contractors to make sure that the damage was being stopped, or at least that the flow of water was being stopped before damage could be created. You know, it's those things, I think, that make HBC what it is.
Well, Gary, what has customer service brought to HBC?
You know, we're very pleased, Joyce. We connected our first cable customers in July of 1998. High-speed data followed in October of 99, and telephone a year later. And you know, that's really not very long ago, and today we're the preferred provider of all three of those services in Winona. We serve 65% of the community's dwelling units with cable television. We have 80% of the internet market, And even though we just rolled out business telephone services, we're now serving more than 50% of that community. So, you know, Winona has been very, very good to HBC, and we'd like to think that we return that favor with outstanding service to our customers.
HBC is an offshoot then of Luminet from way back, and the educational mission started Luminet, and it also is supposed to be part of HBC. How is HBC providing that?
Well, in a number of ways. First of all, you know, Luminet was an education company, and actually there were 3 reasons for creating HBC. The number one reason was to continue Luminet's education mission. We do that in a lot of ways. The Winona schools and universities own 53% of HBC. They own 53% of the HBC stock. In addition to that, they all have video equipment that they can use to produce programs for us or to do things for them. We make ourselves available to the schools. We provide all of their connectivity. We work hard to make sure that whatever assets we have are available to them. So there's not a day that goes by, I think, that we aren't in one or more schools, you know, working either on local programming or internet service or cable television service, or helping them with the video equipment that they receive from HBC.
Luminet's educational mission, which has been passed over to HBC, was bolstered with a television studio set in place on the St. Teresa campus and funded by the Hiawatha Education Foundation. When HBC evolved from Luminet with internet connection and television cable connection into all Winona homes, the capability of providing Winona with their very own television station was already in place. The television studio is located in the Cotter Building on the St. Teresa campus. The entrance for the production studio is on the 7th Street side where the St. Cecilia Theater is located, then down the hall in the center of the building.
We're upstairs in the offices of HBC Productions. Downstairs is our studio. And here in the offices we have Wayne Valentine, our news anchor. We have several other production people. And we have Mary Wilder, who's the general manager of the HBC production part of the company. Let's go meet Mary right now and talk about what happens in this studio. Hi, Mary.
Joyce, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Do you have time to answer some questions for us?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, great.
Come on in.
Thank you. Let's first start off talking about the shows we do produce, other than Spirit of Winona, of course.
Okay.
What do we
Of course,
produce
Spirit
here?
of Winona is our signature show. But the differentiating factor of HBC Productions compared to our competition is obviously the local programming end of things. It's that different approach to our community that we take here. Take, for example, the news. We have a new newscast as well as a 5:30. Wayne Valentine is our news director and also our anchor. And we provide a different approach to the news in that we focus on Winona and the region. So that, of course, is the number one difference that people will see. Then we have our signature shows like the Spirit of Winona. We also have some really unique programming that you won't find anywhere else, and that's the educational programming that we provide. A number of years ago, when the whole concept of HBC Productions came about, the Hiawatha Education Foundation had granted and gifted to the schools a digital package for camera abilities. And so the kids were then able to take that equipment, learn how to use it, and produce some of their own programs, maybe shoot one of their drama programs or maybe one of their musicals. And then we would then air that on Channel 20, which is our community network channel. '25 is where you'll find the news. You'll find Spirit of Winona. We have the Sports Buzz, which is a kind of a very unique sports program. It kind of deals with local sports, national, state competitions. And Justin Barrientos, who happens to be our production director here at the station, is the host of that program. And he has various guests on with him. And it's kind of a fun, quirky, kind of off-the-cuff kind of program.
And now, direct from the HBC studios and only on HBC Cable Channel 20, It's the Sports Buzz.
Time now for our picks for Knucklehead of the Week, and I actually had to change my Knucklehead of the Week because of something I saw.
Versatility, man. That's what it's all about.
That's right. Bryant McKinney for the Minnesota Vikings, or not even the Minnesota Vikings.
There he
is my Knucklehead of the Week because he turned down a 5-year, $13.1 million contract with an $8.1 million signing bonus, saying that the signing bonus was a slap in the face because other players who were drafted below him got more money.
That's a lot of trips to the old country buffet, Bryant. Man, oh man. That's a lot of hostess ho-hos, buddy.
We have Making the Grade, which is another aspect of education where the Winona School District provides the talent to come in and discuss the issues that are important to the parents and the educators of our district.
Welcome to Making the Grade. Making the Grade is a joint production between the Hiawatha Broadband Communications and the Winona Area Public Schools. Our goal each month in Making the Grade is to bring you inside the Winona Area Public Schools.
We have programs like the Cotter Sports Wrap.
Hi, welcome to the Cotter Sports Wrap. Once again, we have a lot of exciting news to talk about with Cotter Athletics.
And the Warrior Report, which is the Winona State program.
Welcome to the Warrior Report. Mike Hertzberg here for another Monday night session of college football with your Winona State University Warriors. Joining me as usual, the head man for the Warriors, head coach Tom Sawyer.
So there's a variety of programs. We have some new programs that are premiering here, and that would be the HBC Today Show, which is going to be a program all about HBC and what it means to our customers, what we're doing in the community, trying to keep them updated on who and what we're all about. And then the newest one is the Tech Show, and it is actually produced by the techs that run the HBC portion of the internet and the cable and that, and that's going to be an exciting program too. So we're branching out into all different exciting areas, and we're trying to involve the community in that as much as possible. We also have this fantastic production truck that we're able to take out into the community and cover sports events, arts festivals, any of the arts programming type things, and we have a direct link back to our studio here so that we can then air it live. This is a standalone production facility. We can do any kind of a live event.
Truck events are a big production for HBC and are generated once or twice a week throughout the year. In the summertime, you'll see the HBC truck at Queen Pageants and on the parade route. In the wintertime, the HBC truck will be at many of the basketball games, bringing live coverage right into your homes.
Travis Graphics Assistant Director tonight. All right, let's make it a good one. It's HBC night.
So let's do it afterwards.
To cover most truck events, a crew of 7 people is required. During this Winona High basketball game, Chris Auerbach is the director, and Dave Williams and Justin Barrientos are the announcers.
A lot of excitement in the air as the Windhawks return home.
That's right, Mankato West coming into this game with a record of 7-5. The Windhawks are 7-4. And
3 people are required to run the cameras. 1 follows the game action, 2 covers the hero shot, and 3 follows the referee and coach shots. Gretchen Johnson is on camera 1, Matt Sperling is on camera 2, and Robert Pack is on camera 3. The excitement of the event is all being cabled into the truck and being monitored and edited by Chris Auerbach, the director, and Travis Volkman, the assistant director. The truck has the capability to produce a finished show and feed it to the studio, where it is then sent out directly to the homes as it happens.
Stand by camera 3. Okay, going to camera 3. Camera 3, stand by camera 1. Okay, hold your shot, camera 1. Take camera 1, you're good. Camera 3, we're in the break. All right, stand by, you got 30 seconds. All right, coming back. Okay, there we go. Hey, Travis, can you do some queuing on one of the decks? Yeah, there you go.
I also run all the audio and video, like if we have any commercials or anything like that. I also run the graphics as a main portion of my job. We run the graphics off of here, off this computer. Our graphics are basically programmed into the computer earlier before the game. They're all set up now. I just type in a number and then that will bring the graphic on the screen.
Coming back to camera 3, stand by camera 3, and we are back live. Cue. Alright, stand by 1, dissolving to 1, stand by 2, take 2, 2 is up. Each camera is assigned a certain duty to do. Basically, camera 2 here would do the game follow, which as you see right here is following the game action. Camera 1 goes for the hero shot, so if there's a basket called like right now, stand by 1, 1's up, he's got it. And then camera 3 is assigned a referee shot, which I'm going to now, stand by 3, 3 or a coach's shot, which is up now. Stand by
The excitement of the event is double duty in the HBC truck as Chris and Travis put it all together in a fashion that makes sense for those of you at home that are counting on live coverage of a local event.
Stand by 3.
So people can be at home and watch their kids play ball. They might be able to watch the parade that we have, the several parades we have in the summers. They might be able to watch an arts program at one of the theaters that maybe they can't get out of the house. And this provides them an opportunity for kind of the arts and the music and the opportunities that shut-ins. Perfect example. You can't get out, we'll bring it to you. That's part of what kind of HBC Productions' mission is all about.
Super. Well, thank you so much. You've given
happy
us
to do
so
it.
many wonderful thoughts about what's happening
I could
here.
talk for hours. Believe me, I could, and I won't.
Okay, I think, well, right now my mission is to go speak with Wayne Valentine, find out all about the news, and then we'll take a trip down to the studio and see how this is all produced.
Wayne Valentine has been a radio voice in Winona for over 40 years. When HBC began its network television programming in Winona, they needed a local person who knew the news business. Wayne was just leaving Radio Home 101, and a perfect match was established. On March 17, 2000, Wayne Valentine first appeared on network television. Wayne arrives in the office every day at 6:30 a.m. He first turns on his police scanner, calls the law enforcement agencies, checks the AP bulletins and the weather reports. He then writes his news stories and tells us the next step in preparing it all for his newscast at noon.
Then at 8 o'clock in the morning, we have what we call a little news huddle in which we gather the whole HBC News production team, and we talk about the stories that are already written, what type of graphics we're going to use to make the story look better, of course, to our viewers. We're also going to visit with our videographer to talk about assignments. For example, if someone is receiving an award or there's something going on at Winona Senior High School or the university or anywhere in the Winona or the area, and it's a big enough story, we're going to try to cover that particular event. A lot of people, I think, have the perception that most of the news is just brought into you and you just sit down and here you are, and but that's not the case. It's an effort by the entire team to go out and gather information. So we start at 8:30 in the morning daily with a news briefing at the Winona Police Department. Andrea Foss, Frank Pomeroy, upper echelon of the police department will go through all of the reports of what happened in the city of Winona overnight. It's my choice to determine what I think is important enough to our viewers to use on the air. So with that in mind, I take notes and then head off from there down to the Winona County Sheriff's Department, which is in the basement of the LEC. And Winona County Sheriff Dave Brand will then look at accident reports, significant event that might have happened in the county overnight or in the past 24 hours, relays that information to the media. We in turn take those notes again. Head off then to the county courthouse, where we stop to the district court administration's office. And of course, we're looking for any major criminal activity or civil suits that might affect the community or the area. As we all know, no one is guilty until proven guilty, so you have to be very sensitive to the individual, the suspect, or the defendant to make sure that you don't make them guilty on the air. We make a stop each day at Eric Sorensen's office, the city manager's office. It's very important that any news person has sources, and as you mentioned, the fact that I have been around for a while, so there's people, if you've gained their trust over the years, who will call you with news tips.
Tell me one thing. How do you like being in front of the camera every day?
Well, it's different. I still have people tell me that I have to relax a little bit, and I think, you know, people who recall my time on the radio, I think we used to have dual people, a morning team or an afternoon team, and sometimes you can work off of one another and you can kind of have a little more fun. And I think it's neat at night, at least when Mike Hertzberg comes in to do the sports, we can kibitz a little bit and have fun. And I still have to learn to relax a little bit.
Wayne does manage to relax a bit when he prepares for that last minute before his newscast.
For my next song, I'm going to sing an old ditty called Far, Far Away.
We're down in the studio now, which is just downstairs from Mary Wilder and Wayne Valentine's offices. And this is where all of our shows are produced, down here in the studio. We have several edit suites, and there's a person down here, Chris Auerbach, who is the production manager of the studio, and he's the one that kind of oversees and makes sure that all the shows are put together well and sent out to you. So let's go visit with Chris and see exactly what goes on down here. Chris is really a man of many hats. Chris does the production around here. He goes out onto truck events and manages those. He puts together commercials, and he's my camera person.
That's right, I am. Yeah, I get that fortunate position. It's very fun to do. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoy it, Chris. Well, tell me some of the things you do now. Tell me what you do here in the edit suite.
Well, in this edit suite, Joyce, we produce television commercials out of here for local clients as well as national clients. We also produce promos for HBC. I'm currently producing a news open that will be starting here pretty shortly. And pretty much this is a high-end edit room with a lot of effects into it, and that's what this edit room is used for.
It's in this edit suite where Chris edits special effects into the commercials that are produced here, as well as the effects used to enhance any of the shows that HBC produces.
Mike Hertzberg and the HBC 25 News team. It's time for HBC 25 News.
Robert Pack, who is also one of the videographers, along with Chris Auerbach, gathers footage for all the news stories.
So you know me, I had to come out to a couple gas stations and find out exactly what people's thoughts are.
Nearly every day, people come down here to the levee to take pictures of the Mississippi River. But within the past few weeks, as the river is even mightier than ever...
For HBC TV News, have a good weekend.
This digital film is then brought back to this edit suite where Chris or Robert install it and then edit it into an interesting piece for our viewers to watch on HBC Channel 25 News.
And then the ceiling collapsed, and then we were driven out again. And you cannot see anything. It's as smoky and dark as I've ever seen a fire. It's in the attic between the old Heart's Desire, Bittersweet Chocolate, all the way to the north. The whole attic is going.
Now let's go into the next room and talk about that.
That's the control room. What the control room is a control room for the studio. So any kind of production that happens in our studio area that you saw earlier is controlled from that room. We have a director's position, and we have a assistant director's position, and we also have a floor director. So during a newscast, basically, the director, who is Justin Barrientos on that particular, for the newscast, sits in the director's position, and he makes the camera calls, put up the graphics. The assistant director, he then rolls a spot reel, commercial reel, or the stories reel. So when a particular story has video with it or a sound bite, Matt is in charge of rolling that after the director makes the call for that.
Less than a minute to go. Guest tape is in. Ready to go? Okay, you ready, Matt?
I am.
Okay, you can record.
Okay, tape's rolling.
All right, stand by to switch and roll. And switch and roll.
Rolling.
Opens in, stand by to cue the 2. Up, stand by 1.
Good afternoon and welcome to this, the Tuesday midday report of news and information from HBC Channel 25. Thanks for joining us again today. I'm Wayne Valentine. Well, gasoline prices could reach $1.75 to $1.79 a gallon in the Twin Cities today or tomorrow, and it could go higher. Industry analysts said jitters over a potential war with Iraq and a general strike in Venezuela are driving prices.
We have a rotation here that
Justin may be the main director for the news, but that also floats to myself, to Matt Sperling, to Robert Pack as well. So we all rotate positions to keep us all fresh in the position. In case someone is sick or is on vacation, we can fill in. Justin Barrientos, for instance, he fills in for Wayne Valentine when Wayne goes on vacation and is sick, and it kind of brings a trickle effect. Justin ends up doing the news, then I end up directing, and it kind of trickles that way. So.
Okay, now tell me about the studio itself. It really is a state-of-the-art studio, isn't it?
Yeah, it was an old gymnasium, and it's a room inside of a room. And the floor is actually on springs to cushion from the railroad tracks or any noise that may come across. The air conditioning system has a lot of curves and turns in order to dampen the sound before it actually comes out of the vent. And it's a very soundproof room. That studio runs with 3 cameras, so we can do 3 cameras, which is also controlled from the control room. The lighting grid is a permanent lighting system for each set that is in that room, so we don't have to go in there with portable lights or move a lot of lights. They're set once and they're left, and they're controlled from a lighting board inside the control room area.
The studio is capable of multiple sets. The Winona School District tapes a monthly show in the HBC studio and brings their own set as well as their own camera person. The HBC production team helps with producing the school show titled Making the Grade.
Welcome back to Making the Grade. Joining me in this segment is Jeff Seeley, and I think his face is probably familiar to many of you as he's on our TV program and we have school board meetings in the evening.
From the studio side, we go into an audio room, which we can produce audio CDs. The room is capable of taking a band or a concert, putting those band members individually into a sound booth at different times of the day, and then blending them all together as you would as a sound studio, basically. And so the final product sounds like everybody's in one environment, even though they came in at different times. We also have an automation room, which is where all of our local programs run from. We don't have a master control operator, so it's all controlled via a computer. So it's programmed, and all the tape decks run by themselves at specific times. They cue themselves up, they rewind, get ready for the next running. Then we have a small edit suite, which is where you produce your show.
This is where you'll find me 20 to 30 hours each week editing The Spirit of Winona, which airs 10 times weekly on Channel 25. It is a show that tells the story of Winona and the surrounding area. It is one small but important aspect of HBC because it is a link in the chain of HBC's purpose. That is to extend the reach of teaching and learning across the Winona community by providing the very best telecommunications service to our residents and seeing that our educational institutions are enhanced not only mentally but economically as well. This has been Joyce Woodworth. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.